everyone, happy holidays. Welcome to Fixin' to Create's 12 days to December activities. These are some fun DIY videos, so thank you so much for joining me each day in our 12 days going into December. Today we're going to be doing a gnome ornament. Now this gnome, you can make it any size and make it a shelf sitter as a decoration, as large or as small. So today we're going to be focusing on an ornament, and this is the little guy that we are going to be doing. There's a lot of different versions out there, but this is the one that Fixin' to Create is going to show you. So I'm super excited, so thanks for joining me. The supplies you're going to need for our gnome is a small mini cone. I found these at Michael's. It was a pack of 6 for $6.99 plus the discount coupon. So that's how I found that. You're going to need some type of nose. Here's just a miniature bead. You can use different colors, or depending on the size of your gnome, you may use larger ones. Because it's an ornament, we're going to be using twine for our hanging purpose. Of course, hot glue to get everything connected. We're going to be wrapping our base in a ribbon just to hide the cone itself. There's many different versions of fur. This happens to be a ribbon that I had, so this is a ribbon fur, or fur ribbon, but you can buy sheets of this that makes it much longer, shaggier, different colors, but this is the one we're working with today. And then also the felt for the hat, and there's different thicknesses of felt. You can find felt at the Dollar Tree, and as well as Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Joann's, and all of those. So this particular size is just a 5 by 5, just kind of a standard standard size until we shape it. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cleared out and we'll get started. All right, so first off, I'm going to go ahead and just measure out about 12 inches of twine just to have that on hand. So you will need scissors occasionally with this project. So I'm just going to set that aside. Now I have my cone here. Now I measured about 8 inches of ribbon. I'm going to go ahead and use this buffalo plaid checked. It kind of matches my mat here, but I think you can see the different size. And we're just going to be covering that just enough so we have no exposure of the cone. Now the hat's going to go over the top part, and of course the beard's going to go over the front part. So we're just going to wrap that around. Now this one actually is a little bit too long, so I may go ahead and trim that down just a little bit. I have it overhanging here because I'm going to fold this down. And then if you want to make it nice and clean looking on the bottom, you can also put a felt bottom when we're all done. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim that down just a little bit. And then I'm going to use my hot glue and go ahead and secure that down. Just letting that just adhere to the foam as well as the ribbon. And like I was saying, you can trim this off at the bottom and not have it hanging over, or you can fold it in, which is what I'm going to do, and fold that over and then cover it with the felt at the end. The beard. Now, like I said, this fur is actually a ribbon, like a 3-inch wide ribbon that I happen to have. You can see it is fuzzy and furry, but they do have faux fur that you can buy at all the hobby stores, and like I said, there's different colors and different shapes and sizes. So I'm going to go ahead and measure off here. We want it to be a little bit high, but we are going to have the hat come over, and then depending on how long you want it. Because this does have little edges on here, I'm going to go ahead and trim those off and kind of curve this around just a bit, just to make it look more beard-like. Now when you're cutting the fur, if you buy the faux fur from the store, you want to try to pull that away so you have less waste when it falls off when you cut it. This particular one, it's a little bit harder to do. You can also cut it from the back side. That helps, and then pull it off. So actually, let's do that. Let's go ahead and see what happens. I'm just going to trim this down, and of course I wanted it longer than short, because I can always trim it later. there you have that. Measure that up here, and that's going to be a nice long beard. So we can go ahead and get that glued. And then you can just sit there and play with the fur. All right, so the hat, I went ahead and just cut a 5x5 square just to have it for the purpose of this video. You're gonna want to make that as a quarter of a pie. So imagine a pizza. So you wanna have a shape of that pie. The way that I do it, which isn't necessarily conventional, I would fold it, know I want it to be at least this length, and then cut it and taper it. So there's a lot of different ways you can do it, a lot of different processes, but the biggest thing is you do want to make sure that whatever the bottom rim is, it can go around your cone, whatever size cone it is, and then it'll taper up from there. So I am just going to keep this size and then just taper that up. So hopefully when I'm done, my edges meet, and then this will form a cone as I form it with my hands and goes up. So, but before we do that, I want to make sure that my size is correct all the way up, but also I'm going to go ahead and glue that twine in there. So I remember we measured that twine, it's about 12 inches long. I'm going to double that up because I am making an ornament. If you're not making an ornament, then you don't need this step. And we're just going to glue that down the center. And just holding your twine together, and then just holding it there so it can adhere. Just give that a few minutes, just keeping your fingers out of the way. And this would be the time too, if you know for sure your measurements are correct in measuring, then you're going to want to fold over just the tip of your hat. Just like the bottom, you want to make sure that it does connect, but you also want to make sure that it connects all the way to the top. There are templates out there that you can use, that you can print out, that'll give you more accurate measurements, but I didn't really do that. So you're just going to create that cone. And if they don't for some reason meet and they have a little ducktail like that, that's perfectly fine as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put a dab of glue just to get my hat started. Like I said, I just did a little bit, that way I can get my fingers up in there, and then I can manipulate and play with the rest while that's secured. I'm gluing the top section of the hat, the part that's folding over. That way, wherever it falls, it's just going to be where it is. If I glued the bottom piece, it might not line up like this, actually, because I didn't measure. Didn't line up exactly, but that's okay because I actually like the little ducktail on the back. A little bit of that twine there. Cut that off. I'm gonna see how that goes. How cute is that? So now I'm gonna go ahead and figure out where I want to put the nose. Now most gnomes' noses are half tucked up inside the hat. So we want to make sure that we have enough space to do that. Depending on how, whoops, keep dropping the beads. What size beads you're using, and get that positioned in that way. So I kind of made a little rut in my beard where I think I want it. Just kind of right in there. So I'm going to put a dab of glue and then carefully put my bead there. You can put your hat on and then tuck your bead under, but in this case, I did it the other way. So then I'm going to put my hat back on, make sure that it all fits nice and snug. If you also like the rolled hat look, where you take your felt and you roll the tips of the hat, you can do that as well. You want to do that before you do any of your gluing. All right, so there is the gnome. I'm going to go ahead and go around the hat here and glue the felt to the rest of the cone. Starting with the back. And then I'll carefully dab a little bit under here. Again, trying to make sure I don't get too much of that beard. Just a teeny bit there will hold it. And there you go. Whoops, not quite secured there. And there we go, a very simple but so cute gnome. And you can make a variety of gnomes, a variety of different ribbon. You can make larger ones for shelf sitting, or you can use them as ornaments. And again, depending on how long you want your ornament to hang. So there you have it. Thank you so much for visiting today. Fixin' to Create's 12 Days to December activity. So thank you again, and we'll see you soon. Bye.